So I've broken building a great culture down into 7 key components. And without these components, really building the culture that you want is almost impossible to achieve. So the first component, or the first kind of pillar of having a great culture, is great leadership. Really, the leader, that being you, that sets the tone for everything else. If you don't have great leadership, the other 6 components don't really matter. In fact, you see this all the time. You'll see it, because the sports world gets so much attention publicly. It's on ESPN every day on SportsCenter. We've got, people kind of dissecting the effectiveness of leadership in coaching or in, a management role. So we get kind of a bird's eye view of the impact culture can have and leadership has on culture. So really, we see it in that anytime maybe a coach leaves a program and moves to a different program, what happens to that program that the coach left? Well, a lot of times the culture changes. In many cases, if the coach left for a better job, the culture often of the program they leave changes for the worse because the leadership has changed. That kind of driving force that kind of is the first domino in everything else happening, it changes. So understand that if you want your business to exude a certain type of culture, then it starts with you. It starts with you kind of, if you want your business to be known as this kind of positive, energetic place, well then it starts with you being positive and energetic. If you've ever been to Todd Durkin's Fitness Quest 10, it's amazing. Everybody sees Todd when he's out speaking at Perform Better or Idea or somewhere else, and they say, man, he is just so inspiring, he's so motivating, he's so energetic. Well, when you go into his gym, you can tell instantly that he's the leader, and his leadership has created an atmosphere and a culture that is embraced by everybody. I can't imagine somebody living in that part of the country and not wanting to be part of this, because you walk into that gym and the people greet you and they're energetic and they're smiling and they're enthusiastic, and it just sets the tone for your workout. And really the leadership Todd's providing sets the tone for everybody else to kind of follow along with. But I've seen it time and time again in businesses and companies where if there's a leadership change, the tone changes, right? The environment changes. And, that's just kind of the responsibility that we take on. And so when you start a business, you're basically saying, I am taking responsibility for setting the tone for the culture I want my business to have. And there just aren't a whole lot of great companies out there that don't have great leaders. Now, does that mean you need to go be a high energy, enthusiastic, kind of rah-rah leader the way Todd Durkin is? No, you need to be you, but you have to understand that your business is probably going to take on your personality. And if you're coming in with kind of the iron fist, then it's going to set a certain type of tone for the rest of the business. If you're going to be the type of person who, is very much a people person or invested in the personal lives of your team and your clients, then that's going to trickle down to the other people in your business. So, I've seen just differences in culture. Like, there have been really 2 businesses or organizations that I led and then moved on from. And in both cases, when I moved on, the tone changed, the culture changed. Maybe better, maybe worse. I'm sure everybody has their own opinion, but just seeing the shift from when I left being the head college baseball coach at the university that I coached at, the person that followed me had a different approach. They set a different tone, and the program kind of went in a different direction. With my previous organization, when we switched some leadership and moved from me kind of being the leader of the organization and moving on to somebody else, again, just a different tone. And I think you see that anywhere. Now, what we have to understand when we do this is, we're kind of under the microscope, right? So if you want things to be a certain way, you got to kind of lead from the front. You have to lead by example. And it's not, it's so much like when we talk about parenting, right? It's not do as I say, it's do as I do. Because, You can say whatever you want, but they're going to respond to you in a certain way based on your actions, based on your behaviors, based on the tone that you're setting. So keep that in mind. As a leader, everything starts with you when you're building a culture. So that's pillar number one of the 7 when we're trying to build a great culture.